Okay, good.
Now, from the time you crank it up, it takes 3 or 4 minutes for it to go through.
Right, right. Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the Disability Digest Live. We'll be getting started here in a moment. It's Brian Terrian.
All right, we're on.
Okay. Unmute. Okay, good. So, Philip, welcome. You're welcome to reveal yourself when you are ready. Ta-da!
Here we go.
There we go. And Jam has just joined us, everybody. Welcome once again to the Disability Digest Live event today.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Jam, welcome. Thanks for joining.
Hey, Phil.
Hey, Jam.
Yeah, good to be back. I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday week last week. I did much time with the family. I went to a wedding, which was one of the best that I've ever attended. And we're high and dry here in Vermont. For those of you that have been watching the news, we get 9 inches of rain in a few days, which is a lot of water. But we're all good here, in particular at our house. So anyway, let's see. Today, by popular demand, we have one more segment of how to use artificial intelligence, AI, Chat GPT, to maximize your ability to contact the Center for Independent Living or other agencies to secure housing. So we're going to go through that and show you how to do it. Also, in the disability application process, or once you're approved, oftentimes people get stuck and they need help to either get their approval get their decision made, or they have back benefits that are stuck at Social Security, or something else has happened. So using a government representative is a great way to get assistance with that. So we're going to teach you how to use the communication tool of Chat GPT and AI to structure a letter of communication to your local representative. And then, last but not least, we are going to take some questions. So if you have questions for Jam, Philip, or I, you are welcome to put them in chat. If you're on YouTube or if you're on one of the respective Facebook groups, Philip, you have your chat turned on there?
Got it on.
Good. All right. Did I miss anything that we're going to cover today? We got it?
We're good.
Good. Let's go. All right. So first things first, I'm going to share my screen with everybody. And the first thing that I want to cover with you is the Centers for Independent Living. And if you're not familiar with these, I would suggest that you make yourself familiar with your local Center for Independent Living, where they are, what services they provide, so that you can take advantage of what is available to you in your area. Now, these services are government funded. They're provide free services. If you're a disability applicant or recipient, then you're likely eligible for treatment options, food and financial assistance, legal aid, housing. That's what we're going to cover today. They have transportation, like they'll pick you up, drop you off somewhere, advocacy support groups. So how the centers are structured is different locations provide different services. And I'm going to put in the chat on YouTube, because I don't have access to the others, the link for the Center for Independent Living so that you have it. But if you look at the screen right now, I'm going to walk through an example of how to contact a housing agency. And the first step is to find a local center for independent living. And I'm going to use one that is in my area as an example. So the link that was put in, if you don't have it and you're watching somewhere, then you can contact us as a member and we'll get you this resource and this guide. But this green button leads you to the directory for Centers for Independent Living. And from here, what you do is you just hover over the state. Like this is the great state of Vermont. And I use this as an example because this is a 680,000 people live here, maybe 680,001. I don't know, somebody might have moved in last week, but it's a small state. But if you look at the density of it, they have centers like all over the place. And that would be the same in most states. So even if you're rural, there's coverage everywhere that you can access. So how you use the directory is you would go into one of these bubbles that's close to your area. And I'm going to use the Burlington one. And you just click on it and the name comes up. So in Burlington, it's Vermont Center for Independent Living -Burlington. Then down below here, when you scroll down, you'll see they list each one in this directory. And the Burlington one is at the top of the page. And they even provide the director's name and email address and the contact information and their website. And sometimes there's a Facebook page. So with the contact information, you can then reach out to your local organization to find out what services they have. And again, I'm going to use housing as an example with our Chat GPT example today. All right, everybody with me so far? Raise your hand. Jessica, Virginia, disabled officer. Welcome, welcome. Good to have everybody here today. And just a reminder, we're going to go through a few examples, additional examples of how to use Chat GPT, and then we'll take some questions. And if you've missed some of the prior ones, like how to use this for your disability application, to write a case theory or to write a full legal brief or to how to find jobs or how to communicate with your doctors, then those are available as a replay on our YouTube channel. Okay, back to the show. On this example here, I am going up to the template text that I put together. And if you're watching this, this is more text than I can put in the chat. Otherwise, I would be glad to do it. But you can listen to the replay and pause it and come up with this structure. Or if you're a member, email us for this information at support@thedisabilitydigest.com. So the example that you would want to use, or the template, I should say, goes something like this. I live in your state, and I'm not able to work a traditional job because I suffer from the put the conditions in. I'm a Social Security recipient, or if you're not a recipient, you can put an applicant or remove that. Because of my situation, I'm in need of housing for the date that you want to move. My monthly budget, and I would like a studio, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, what you'd like. On the first floor, or if you've got other specifications, like you don't need to be on the first floor, you can be on any floor. And if you have mobility issues or other limitations, you want to make sure that you include those. Would need to be within 2 blocks of public transportation. You can modify that if you don't. And important to include the areas that you do not want to live. So please prepare a letter to send to insert your local Center for Independent Living. So back over here, I am going to send this to this local Center for Independent Living, and the name of that organization is right here. Okay, so that's what would be put in there. So then that's the template. I modified it to my situation in Burlington. I live in Burlington, Vermont. I suffer from lupus and MS, Social Security disability recipient. I need a place by September 1st. My budget is $1,600. I'd like a large studio, 1 bedroom. Guess you could put a penthouse in there if you really wanted one. On the first or second floor, I have mobility limitations. Would need to be within 2 blocks of public transportation. I do not want to live within 5 blocks of the north end of Burlington. Please prepare a letter. Okay, so when I enter that into Chat GPT, which I will do as an example, and then I'll show you the letter that it comes up with. Now, if you're joining us late, like you didn't see some of the prior ones or how to get Chat GPT, this is a free service. You can go and you can sign up. Just Google Chat GPT. There is a paid version, but I'm just using the free version for this example. Okay. So I'm going to put it in there and it will come up with a letter. As you see, it starts to write it. And I'm just going to go down here because this text is easier to read. And you'll see it puts the address in to, and then writes this very nice letter. Hope this finds you well. I'm writing to request assistance for a housing counselor at Vermont Center for Independent Living. So most of these centers have housing counselors. There's kind of like a real estate agent. They don't have property, but they will help you find one. And currently a Social Security disability recipient. I'm just hitting the highlights here. I'm in need of housing by September 1st, giving my medical condition and mobility. It's critical for me to find a suitable accommodations that cater to my needs. And here are some of them. Accessibility, proximity, budget, so on and so forth. So with a housing counselor, and the reason why you want to do this is these organizations provide services at no charge. And the pros and the cons of that are, pros is no charge. Cons are a lot of people use it. So if you have a plan together and you send this in to your Center for Independent Living, so remember here you have all of the contact information. You have even their fax number and their mailing address. You send it in and then you follow up. And that separates you, I expect, from most of the pack of people that are out there and makes it, in my opinion, you come across professional. You're going to be easier to work with because you know exactly what you want, and it helps them do their job. So housing is very difficult for people, and this is one step that I'm in hopes that you will take advantage of that doesn't cost you anything, that will maximize your chances of securing housing. So before I go on to the next example, do we see Jam or Philip, are there any housing questions that have come up?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. I see one here. I've contacted the housing places in my area and gotten the runaround. Okay. I have not contacted the Center for Independent Living. All right. So here's this is a good point. This is from A1, so we don't repeat it. This is not going to be a one call get a solution. It'd be great if it is, but finding housing because of the inventory is very low. You just have to be polite, persistent, professional. This letter will help you do that. Yeah, there's a video interview on our YouTube channel from Jim Troxel, who's a member here, disability recipient who does some part-time work for Centers for Independent Living. And he explains the process of like housing and what it's like. And he's in Pennsylvania, but it's the same everywhere. All right. So let's move on to part 2. Part 2 is using a government representative. And you can use representatives for, and this could be, typically it's a congressman. Like I have spoken before about, I'm in the Bernie Sanders territory, the land of Bernie. And I have used his organization. I've also used a Republican organization, but his performs much better. So if you have something going on with a government agency, which could be the IRS, you have a tax situation, or you have a Social Security situation, you can use these agencies and they have people there on staff to help you out. And again, your communication with them is going to be important. When you approach a congressman, they have a standard process to go through where they're going to ask you to fill out a communications form, which will have your identification on it, and then like your opening statement, what you need help with. And what I'm going to share with you right now is where you would put your statement. Okay. So now there is video directions on how to find and contact your representative. This has been updated several times, but this is an older one from 2018. And if you don't know who your representative is and you don't know how to find them online, the video link I just put in the YouTube channel has an actual phone number that you can call. And believe it or not, it's somebody at the White House. It's not Joe Biden that answers the phone and will direct you to the person to contact. All right. Okay. All right. On with the next phase. And this one is written similar to what we covered in a prior event about how to communicate that you are eligible for Social Security disability benefits. It's just put a modification on it so that you can use it to contact your representative. So it's up here, it's just going through the identifiers of your age, your job, the date that you are not able to work, and that you're being treated and you're taking medications, and what your limitations are. So it's the same structure as what we have taught you to use in prior sessions. So I'm not going to drill down and repeat the whole process. This part is where the uniqueness comes in. I filed for Social Security disability put in the date that you filed, and I have not received a decision yet. And here you're putting prepare an explanation that I can submit to, and this is where you want to put who you're addressing it to. Like I would put Senator Sanders' office in Burlington, Vermont. requesting to contact Social Security on my behalf for a decision. Right. So that's the structure of the letter. And this is a more in-depth one, and I'm going to put it up on the screen here. But I just want to go through a word of caution on this. I would encourage you to make sure that your case is in good shape before you apply pressure to it to ask Social Security to make a decision. And here's what I mean by good shape. If you have 5 doctors and they've requested medical records from 5, but only 3 are in there, and you're going through this process, Social Security is going to make a decision based on partial evidence, which is likely not going to benefit you. So you want to make sure if you're managing your case on your own, that all of your evidence is in the file. You would need to do that by contacting your caseworker directly. Like, do you have all my doctor's support letters? Do you have my third-party letters? Do you have the video that I took to show that I can't lift or squat or bend or stoop? All those things are in there. If you're using a representative, disability representative, they can see in your case file. They can see all that stuff. So you can just make sure that the time is right before you make this move. So anyway, this is the prior one that I did, and it put together this beautiful letter right here, addressed to Centers for Independent Living, that I showed you in the Google Doc like this. So this one I'm going to just take, I'll put it in this example here and put it in, and it will likely come up with the same thing. I don't know if anybody noticed, but Chat GPT was not working for a chunk of the time yesterday. And also, while we're on this, is there anybody out there this week that is using a paid version of this? And if you are, like, what's your experience? Do you have any feedback for us, paid versus free? So anyway, as you can see, it's writing this nice letter. So you could use this for your representative with a disability decision. Sometimes back benefits get stuck. Sometimes people have their benefits, they're removed from them as a result of a CDR. So those are some different applications, and it really does work. We have several videos of people that have had success doing this. Okay, great. So that is what I wanted to cover with you on the how-tos today. We're going to take some time now and answer any questions relative to this that you might have, or any questions in general that you have. If you're participating from Philip's group, Philip has the chat open on the broadcast there, as well as Jam is going to monitor the YouTube chat. So let's get at it. Anybody want to go first? Any volunteers? Going once, going twice?
No questions here yet.
All right.
Yeah, here too.
Okay. Philip, I was noticing there was a work credit question that you had in your group. You want to talk about that?
Yes.
Okay.
Remember, it applied 2 years ago, still hasn't received a decision either way, denied or approved. And of course, she heard family members, friends, or something tell her that, at some point she could run out of work credits.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But that's not the case, right? Once you file, yeah.
Correct. So if you have, I'll use the example, if you are required to have 40 work credits, which applies to most people, and you do and you apply, then you have enough credits to get approved. Now, here's where it gets a little interesting. Let's say you don't get approved, and when you go to apply again a second time, Like you have an initial application that gets denied, you appeal it. In most states, there's a reconsideration that gets denied. You go to court in front of a judge, that gets denied, and then you go and you apply again. If you don't have enough credits when you apply again, then you don't have enough credits. Your disability benefits have expired. So here's something for everybody, a few things out there for everybody to keep in mind. Your credits are based on your work history, and you work, you pay your taxes, and when you stop working, they're available for about 5 years. So like for 5 years, you typically have enough credits to apply. So where people run into problems is they wait till like, I don't know, maybe 4 years in and they apply and they haven't been treated and they don't have clear diagnosis, they don't have a good case, then they go through that application and they can't apply again. So one of the key financial strategies for people to definitely consider is to apply like 6-8 months when you're out of work, so that if you don't get approved on the first go around, you've been at it for like 3 years, let's say, you still have a chance to apply again, right, with the 2 years left. So those are a few things about work credits.
Okay.
Yep. Before the next question comes up, I wanted to address some of the comments that have been coming in. It's not the first time. There's a lot of individuals that are not Social Security disability eligible because they didn't have enough work credits or they applied too late. They fall into any of those examples. And then they come here and there's information that we put out on our videos that are targeted towards Social Security disability recipients, those individuals that have worked enough to collect their disability. Now, some of this information certainly is of value to those that don't and are just on SSI, which is their Medicaid coverage, and possibly some financial compensation monthly. But not all of it. And especially with the question about how much money you can make and keep your Social Security disability benefits. The regulation for that is not the same as SSI. But the housing information that we just went through, that applies. The information about contacting a representative, that does. And a lot of the other tips about, how to reduce or eliminate your phone bill, things like that definitely do apply. All right.
Here's one on medical coverage, Brian. Hold on, here we go again with the internet. Sorry.
Right. That's all right.
They applied, was approved, realized they're in the letter, says they're not eligible for Medicare for 24 months. They're in the healthcare market plan right now, spending $25 a month. Should they stay in that?
Unless they have a better option. I mean, maybe spouse's insurance could be the only other low to no cost option. Is a common low to no cost option. Yep. Yeah, I don't know if anybody else has any input on this. Like, if what did you do to survive the wait if you needed to between when you were approved for disability and your Medicare started? Yep. Could be a while for some.
And if they could apply for Medicaid.
They could. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yep. Yep. Good, Jam. I see some questions in the chat. You want to start going through those for us?
Yeah, sure. And I apologize to you guys. You won't be able to see my face today. I have sore eyes.
Oh, sorry. Sorry you
Yeah.
have sore eye. Yeah.
Yeah, it's airborne, and everyone in the family had it.
Yeah.
I'm the last one.
Okay. So we should be safe though, because we're remote, right?
Of course.
All right.
Nothing to worry. All right, here's one. Are these benefits only in the continental USA?
There's Social Security disability benefits. The only exception to that is, if you worked and paid and qualify for Social Security disability and are living outside of the US, then this information would be applicable for you.
Right, and here's a question from Susan. Hey, Susan, my review is coming up next December. Should I be
Mhm.
worrying?
No, I would just say be prepared. If you're prepared, then you really shouldn't be worried.
Yeah, there's a follow-up question from Afi addressed to Susan, and maybe you, Brian, can answer as well. How do you know you're getting a review in December?
Yeah, they may be scheduled to be a review, but it's really, are they going to do the review on time? Or they do it early or later? Yeah.
Mhm.
Good question. I don't know. There isn't any certainty with them hitting that date. Them meaning SSA, Social Security.
Should I be worried about the AI technology?
I think people should be, yeah, you could be worried about it. I don't know what the particular worry would be. My worry from my perspective is that I don't learn it and stay up on it so that I can keep our audience informed and to use these wonderful tools. Because if you don't know how to use these wonderful tools and you're competing with 1.4 million people out there and others are doing it or doing it better or differently or not as good, then that's an issue. So that's my concern. I don't know. I think also people, certain jobs are going to be eliminated. That's for sure. But also jobs will be created. So I don't know. It's a really good point Philip, Jam, when you first heard about this, or maybe now, you have concerns?
At first, but it actually is very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
I think of it as a tool.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I'll echo that because just one simple example, I am grammatically challenged. And this helps me.
Yeah.
So
yeah. All right, here's one. Just a praise report approved in under 30 days from Steven. Congrats. On to
what?
helping with yeah, on to help with housing. Thanks for all the knowledge.
You're welcome.
Right. I don't see the link for contacting a representative. Will it be posted after the call has ended?
Well, I put the video. I thought I put the video in chat. I'll do it again.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, I did? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right. I had a SSI hearing last week. They already approved me with the doctor is in the hilt stuff, but the judge said that she will let me know. Is that a good sign?
It's confusing to me because if the judge said they'll let you know, how do you know you're approved?
Right. Right. I applied for my son for SSDI. Is it okay for me to contact my representative on behalf of my son?
If you have listened to the prior video snippet that I had about timing, and you feel it's the right time, then yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's other other items that you can include in there, like maybe there's safety issues. I'm just, using that as an example for your son because of the conditions or anything else you can add to it, that would strengthen it.
All right. And here's a follow-up from Susan regarding her being worried about her upcoming CDR. only because it's been 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Yeah, I mean, CDRs are happening. I was just going through with two individuals this morning that have lost their benefits as a result of CDRs. So they're definitely out there. They'll continue to be. So being aware and prepared. For those of you out there, we help you with the CDR process a few ways. You can search our YouTube channel, and there's 4 parts of a 10-part course that was put together with attorney James Mitchell Brown. Just type in the keyword CDR, like Charlie, David, Robin. If you're a member, and especially if you're in the benefit protection program we have, then you'll be getting this. But if you're a member and want to get access to the full 10 lesson course, then you just contact us by replying to one of the emails that we have sent you or contacting support at the Disability Digest from the email address that your membership was created with, and we will set you up.
All right. From Tracy, I have been asked to join an organization where I can make referrals and receive money from each referral that make. Is there an amount that I can make before it begins to affect my SSEI benefits?
Do either one of you want to address that question?
What was the question again? I'm sorry.
I've been asked to join an organization where I can make referrals and receive money for each referral that make. Is there an amount that I can make before it begins to affect my SSEI benefits?
Yes, there is an amount you
Yes,
yes.
that's 1,050 for disability recipients.
Now, if you're doing this, but it sounds like you would be like an independent contractor, that would be net after your expenses. Cell phone, transportation, printer, accessibility needs, service dogs. I don't know if they have service cats. Do they have service cats? I don't think so.
Not familiar.
No.
I don't think so.
Be a pretty-
Maybe they're not capable of servicing. I don't want to upset any cat lovers out there. I'll be cautious about what I say. All
All
right.
right. How do I verify that I am a member?
If you are invited to this event by email, then you're a member. That's one way. Or you can simply look for email from the Disability Digest. If you're getting email, then you are a member. If you're not, then you can go in and register. And if you're already a member and you do it by mistake, then we'll let you know. Yeah.
And that's it on my end.
Okay. Philip,
No.
anything else on your side? All right, good. Perfect. Listen, just kind of a heads up, not kind of, but a heads up for next week is we just completed our 16th year on June 26th. So we're into our 17th year and there's 192,000 people here. So our focus has been to help people get their benefits, keep them and maximize them. But for next week's event, there's really 5 general concerns that people have as they experience a health event and it impacts their work situation and the other areas of their lifestyle. So for next week, we're going to discuss those. Like one of them is financial instability. How do you deal with the financial instability? And another would be, how do you deal with the sense of purpose? Like a lot of people are connected to their work and their identity as an able-bodied person. How do you deal with those? So we're going to deal with the 5 next week. And I would love to have everybody back plus, so we can get some interaction and learn from people so that we can share the information that we've learned about these concerns and also others chime in. So that's on tap for next week at 12:15. And we recently did an event that was the first time we've ever done anything like this, called our jam session. I see some of you out there attended that. And those that attended, I guess it was a success. So it was a small group of our clients, people that we manage their insurance business, they're in our benefit protection program or helping get approved, but it was done by Zoom. And we were able to collaborate and talk back and forth, unlike how we work here. And it was great. It was funny. It was educational. So we look to do more of this so we can learn from each other and help as a whole. So we are going to put some of the segments of that jam session out for others to listen to, so you can kind of get a vibe for that. And it was called the jam session because it was hosted and emceed by our one and only Jam, who did a
Yes.
great job. Yes.
Thank you, Ryan.
You're very welcome. All right. So we'll be back next week. If you're new here, we encourage you to subscribe, of course, if you're checking us out on the YouTube channel, and then join us as a member. It's the very best way that we can help you, because you fill out a profile and we understand where you're at in the process, whether you're